Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on May 4th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies I talk about are the same philosophies I guide virtually every movement I make by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they have worked and they continue to work for me and have worked for literally thousands of other people with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. This in mind, today we're going to be looking at prosperity, its essence, and how it affects you and the community around you. Now, before I get into it, Woo Rider is in with the gold. How you doing, Woo? And by the way, big congratulations to your kids on the T-ball championship. Congratulations to them. You know, that's what I talk about. That's what I mean about good news coming in. Now, we could focus on the people that have lost. Somebody's got to. But absolutely hats off to them. Okay. Then we have coming in with the silver. We have Nathan is in with the silver. But before we get to there, we have Storm running the whole stream for us. So if there is a problem, we are not relying on me to straighten it out. Okay. I'm going to do my best to keep the energy levels down on my end because we already know that backfires. And LA is here keeping an eye on everything. And I will tell you, with the moderators we've got in the room right now, I don't have to worry. So before anybody gets a brilliant idea that talking to me because the moderators pulled the plug on somebody, don't bother. Okay. I put my faith in their ability to make sure I don't have another heart attack. Thank you. That was really exciting. Don't want another one. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I'm presuming you're busier than heck. You usually are. Oh, what do we got? Oh, there we go. Brain chemical high on happy right now. Now, I do hope that's high on happy because things are going well. And not because of artificial enhancements. Oh, there we go. I was, but not now. You know, I'm just glad you managed to make it. Now, here's the thing. You know, Nathan is in with the silver. Oh. You know, now, where we are talking about prosperity, I am not going to start pointing fingers at people. The reality is there are so many people that are out there talking about how we're all going to lose things. We're going into a depression. We've got land shortages, food shortages, oil shortages, and of all things, gravity shortages. Okay. Now, we're being taught this, but in all fairness to the people that are teaching you, they were taught the same thing. Prosperity is not a monetary thing. And this is the first thing we gotta realize. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, and his storm goes more like brain shortages. Absolutely. I mean, I get a kick out of it. We've invented artificial intelligence. Would somebody out there mind inventing or reawakening true intelligence? I mean, this idea of looking at it going, we've got all these shortages and yet everything keeps growing. You know, we keep getting a bigger population. We keep having more people to house. The only people that are suffering, that are complaining about the shortages are the ones that seem to be already overloaded with stuff. Because I'll tell you from my experience, the people that are struggling to make ends meet never notice a depression, ever. You know, you've got a shortage of money. Well, of course they do. That's just the way of life. But we can look at that. Prosperity is a mindset. If you are happy, This is the thing to look at first, not what your dollar bill says, not how many coins you got in the bin. Okay, because I will tell you, the way things are going, there is so much technology out there going, hey, here's an idea. You can lose 30 pounds by sitting on your backside and popping a pill. Now, let's look at the logic here, shall we? Okay, do nothing, put no effort into it. You'll have a body that is absolutely to die for. You'll probably be dead at the same time, but that's another issue. But you think about it, if you're dropping 30 pounds of weight in a month, that's all going through the other organs in your system. You are overtaxing. Now, I was told the same thing. You can't lose weight by cutting down on what you eat. You need this pill to help you drop the weight. And then you sit on your backside and stare at the idiot box while you're popping sugar cookies, because this is always good for your health. Well, my doctor retired. I ran into her at the restaurant the other day, and she takes a look at me and she goes, Keith, you've lost a lot of weight. Are you okay? I looked at her and went, yeah. I just quit eating as much as I was eating, and I started moving a little more. Side effect. As of this morning, I was just breaking the 190 again. I'm aiming for 180, so we're going to see how that goes. But understand something. Prosperity and success are linked together. And if they happen for you, they will happen for the people around you. And hear me out and I'll explain why. By the way, if you've got questions, absolutely if you're in the chat room, put them in the chat room, preferably in all caps, at least partial caps, and at the bare minimum, put a wavy hand up so that I can actually spot it. Okay. Most people that use wavy hands seem to use a pink one, which is great. It means I can see it. But the thing we got to understand here is if you desire your life to change, thinking about it is great. Just think about it. Think about it. It's as good as doing it. And who did what to me? Oh, okay. I have to keep an eye on that because people end up sending me information on occasion. But I've been told quite consistently, think about what you desire, because thinking about it is as bad as doing it. Okay. Well, if that were the case, rest assured this planet would be extinct a long time ago. But when you desire your life to change, a couple of things to keep in mind. With all the books out there, there's a staggering number of well-written books. Okay. Now, I will tell you, have I written my own? Absolutely. Okay. And if you're still looking for a way to turn your life around, then frankly, very simple. Okay. That's believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Okay. And if you'll notice at the bottom, that's my name because I'm the one that wrote it. The catch to this is if you're still looking for a book, these are $20 in your pocket. $20 in your hand, anywhere in Canada or the continental US. And yes, we are looking into other ways of distribution, what have you. But for the moment, yeah, LA goes, I heard of people popping a pill and losing 100% of their body weight. Well, I did fall into that trap. Take this pill, it'll help you drop the weight. Sure, it did. 3 days after I started taking it, with all the research they'd done, the research looked nice. 3 days after taking it, I had a heart attack. I'm telling you, fatality will make you drop weight. It really buggers up your living experience, though. So when we are looking at prosperity, I'm going to give you the formula, and I'm going to do that neat thing. Just listen to the end of the video, and I'll give you the secret. It's just, just wait till the end of the video. Can't guess the video's over, because here's the formula for success. Okay, success equals, before I do that, grab a piece of paper or a pen or a recording device or whatever it is, because this is literally the secret to success. This is the same one that I personally use. Okay. You literally, success equals belief plus focused effort, meaning get off your butt and make it happen. Okay. The neat part about it is you can blame the government, you can blame the religious leaders, blame the multinational moguls. Be my guest, but you're the one that's got to get off your tail. Because rest assured, rest assured, if you don't get up, all the prayer in the world isn't going to help. All the positive thinking in the world isn't going to do a thing for you. Okay. I mean, yeah, we can talk about it, but here's the net result. Okay. We take that. That is a book based on the way that this world goes. Remember that thing about thinking about it being as bad as doing it? Birth of the Wolf Pack, the King Chronicles, details the collapse, or more to the point, the aftermath of the world of civilization collapsing. Now, I've thought about it. Has civilization collapsed? Have we got people running through every street in every town, shooting people and cutting people up with swords? If that's not happening, then apparently, because I'm not the only author that's done this, apparently it's not as bad to think about. When we look at prosperity, take a look at what you feel prosperity is. Now, let me ask you, I'd love to see input from the chat room, okay, of what you actually feel is prosperity to you, or what would make you feel successful. Okay. See, I've spent the last decade I've spent 60 years hiding from the world, but the last decade, a decade ago, and this is why I don't use a straight razor or a safety razor. A decade ago, I took a razor that looked just like this, okay? And I caught myself here and tore my throat open all the way from the jawline to the trachea. Okay, with this thing, with one like this. Needless to say, being a little agile, a little leery about getting one. But as I've taken the time to really focus on what I feel is success, okay, I've managed to get things under control. You can do exactly the same thing I'm doing, and so much more, if only you'll get off your tail feathers and make it happen. Okay, now, where it comes to prosperity itself, we got to remember, when you've been told, ask and ye shall receive. Tell the universe what you want. These are great ideas, except one little critical factor. In linear thinking, in other words, today, tomorrow, and yesterday are separate entities. And we're about to eliminate that, by the way. But in that line of thinking, if you don't have something right now, or if you're not able to do something right now, you're never going to be able to. And I do not like the fact I did this, although I am consistent. One day I will remember that. And probably the next day I'll forget it. But, what the heck. Anyway, when, you've been told that. So here's the deal. First of all, we look at this axiom that I heard about first back in the 1970s. I probably heard about it in the 60s, but we'll go with the 70s. Okay. Today is the tomorrow you dreamt about yesterday. And today is also the yesterday you will talk about tomorrow. This means that today, tomorrow, and yesterday are all the exact same time. Okay, but the only one of those 3 days that you can do anything in is today. You can postpone whatever you'd like until tomorrow. You can postpone it for 6 months. But by the time you get to that point, you'll be back to today. Because I'm telling you, nobody that I've ever heard of, when they sit down for coffee with a friend they haven't seen in a while, I get to hear somebody go, "Hey, I'm really glad you made it to coffee tomorrow." Or you haven't seen them for months and you get together and go, "Gee, thanks so much for showing up for coffee yesterday." There we go. Now, LA Moon is putting in prosperity equals food, sundries, rent, home, clothing. Happiness equals home, family, health, and prosperity. For me, anyhow. As long as storm's here. Yeah, as long as storm's here, I'm home. See, home is where the heart is, which is great unless you know a cannibal that took the heart away. Which can be a bit. Now that was just dark. The thing we have to realize is when you're looking at changing your life, when you're ready to change it, okay, are there secrets to it? Absolutely. But those secrets boil down to get off your tail feathers. Quit pointing the finger at other people going, it's their fault. Oh, there's 5 families running the entirety of the world. Let me ask you this. Okay, let's assume for half a moment that that's what you're thinking. There's 5 families that run the world. Are any of those families sitting in your living room telling you when you can pick up a cup of coffee or when you can get up and go to the washroom? Okay, this is the reality behind them running the world. It's not working that way. They absolutely have all kinds of money available. Absolutely, they do. Probably more than you do, and Lord knows more than I do. But prosperity is not based on dollars. Okay, if you've ever listened to some of these people that have made millions, number one, most of them, what they've done, and I'm talking just the new money, most of them have found people with a brain. Okay, with a brain and a wide open heart that they could easily manipulate. Net result, the people doing the work, and I'm going to get flack for this, I know it. Okay, but the people I'm going to get flack from I also know are going to deal with it. They'll complain about it and they'll still go with it. Okay, because I am a firm believer that when you are climbing the ladder to success, and I am going to get there, but there are certain people that have had my back right from the get-go, that as money comes in, and money is not a payment. Understand, all money is a barter system. Okay, it is simply a balance point. It's just a lot easier to move a $10 bill around than to drag a cow around. Besides that, you don't have to feed the dollar bill or the $10 bill. You don't have to water it. And I'd recommend not trying to milk a dollar bill because you're likely not going to get very far with it. But prosperity is a mindset. I take a look at the energy behind me. Okay, I look at the energy in front of me, but you can see what's going on back here. Whether you can see the energy or not, take a look at my older videos, and you'll find a lot of the clutter has gone away. Okay, when we're looking at prosperity, it boils down to getting the negative energy out of the way. Okay, now we start with the obvious issue, and I've gone over this a number of times, probably will go over it a number of times more. But prosperity itself is when you feel energized, in my opinion, if you wake up in the morning and you're feeling energized or excited to get out of bed and get something done, okay, you're starting to feel better about yourself. This means the energy in your life is going to start moving faster. As a side effect, your health is going to start to climb, your anxiety is going to start to decline, and your material world is going to take a turn for the better. Now, whatever you do, do not take my word for it. do your own research. If you haven't followed the steps we've been talking about and you're still struggling because you're following somebody else's road, okay, somebody else has said, do this. Well, I've done this and it's not working. Time to change. Okay. I was told years ago that when you're looking, when people have started talking about all these new thought processes, a new book came out. I'm not going to tell you which one, okay, because I'm not about to talk down about anybody else's work. There are so many different ways of putting things and so many different ways of interpreting them. One piece of work is not necessarily worse. It just may not be what you're looking for. But when this one book came out, a long-standing client of mine turned around and sent me a copy of it and said, look, this is brand new information. And then she goes, but how can it be brand new if you've been teaching it for a decade already? Now, the reality is, I talk about things in a practical sense. Yeah, my memories are twisted. They're way beyond normal in a lot of ways. But if you desire to become prosperous, first thing you got to figure out. Okay, the first one, and I've talked about this, and it's extremely important. If you haven't done so already, these 4 words, okay, I am worth it. Those 4 words are the most powerful words in combination in any language I've ever come across. Be it spoken, written, pheromonal, doesn't matter if it's auditory, they all work the same way. Now, that's the first thing you do. If you haven't done that already, okay, and where did it go? Ouch, that was painful. As you can see, I still sit still a lot. Every one of the books that I send out, okay, yes, I sign them all. Every one of them comes along with a bookmark that says, believe in yourself and follow your dreams. On the back of it, ready-made sign, I am worth it. Now, I've got this sign on the windowsill right above this monitor. I've got it over there. I've got it on my fridge, and I've got it on my front door. Okay. Like I said, I talk about things that I do. This is why I know they work. Don't take my word for it. It's time to start modifying your own approach. If what you've got is not the prosperity and the enjoyment you like, then it's time to start changing it. At least in my eyes. Now, with that in mind, realize that prosperity for you may not be prosperity for me. Maybe you're caught up in the idea of, I need lots of dollars in the bank. Let me ask you this, because we're going to deal with that as well. Okay, because there's a lot of different ways to look at prosperity. Okay, one of the biggest ones is the way you look at yourself. Okay, and this is why I am starting to change my own outlook, my own appearance. And that's what this was about. For a decade, okay, I've been using something just to periodically remove my beard and mustache. Okay, I'm not getting rid of the sideburns. Sorry, they're stuck. No, I'm not. But finally picked up a razor. Okay, because I managed to change things enough that I am not actually in overly heavy-duty danger of slitting my throat again. I lost a really good shirt that day. Yeah, I do agree with you there, LA. LA goes, great minds think together. Now, that worked well. There was a time when thinking together proved to be literally fatal. But I'll explain that in a second. Okay. The Lemurian Empire, we all fought together. We had linked consciousness. No fear, no anger, no jealousy, no war. Okay, well, that's wrong. There was fear. Okay, people still had fear, but there was a staggering amount of support. But you had no jealousy, you had no poverty, there was no famine anywhere. Okay, because people literally worked together. But when somebody, and we never did figure out who, we don't know if it was an adult, a child, a senior, a munchkin, whether it was male, female, we had no clue. But somebody came up with the idea of, hey, what would happen if we all stopped our physical heart at the same time? We never thought about it. We just did it. Bad idea. However, the other saying that comes to mind with that one, with this great minds think together, is the other saying that many people run with is great minds think alike, right? And I look at it and go, yep. And simple minds seldom differ. Question is, do you feel you've got a great mind, or do you feel you've got a simple one? Okay, I will tell you, I look in the mirror and I go, no, you've got a very simple outlook on life. No, you're not invited in. I look at it going, I've got a very simple mind. To me, it's black and white the way things work. But it's not me that's got to see it. My life is changing because I decided I was no longer content. Okay, and since they've already warned me it's lonely at the top, I'm taking as many of you with me as is physically possible of those of you that desire to go. If, like so many of the people I talk to, when they go, how do I make this happen? I'll go, here you go. They'll go, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this. Be my guest. But for pity's sakes, if you're going to ask how to do something and you've not tried it, okay, because something isn't working for you, it would be really appreciated if you actually give it a shot first. Okay, it's that simple. But thinking you're going to be broke is going to provide you with that option. And here's going back to what I was talking about asking, about praying and for somebody to straighten your mess out, or asking for that which you want. Asking ye shall receive. Tell people what you want and you'll get it. Both of the issue of asking for what you desire. Okay, for what you want. Asking indicates, now, in linear thinking, it makes total sense. If you don't have it, ask to get it. This makes total sense. But the universe works in the here and now, and reality works in the here and now. Okay, now, as I said, with the issue between today, tomorrow, and yesterday, okay, we're going to expand on that a fraction and give you the mathematical equation. And this is not the mathematical equation. I'm going to give you the equation for the theory of relativity. Actually, in all fairness, the one that Einstein gave, okay, is a wonderful theory. But here's one that goes beyond the theory. And you can argue this one until the heck freezes over. But do it in your own head. Okay, here's the formula I work with, and it has not failed me yet. Doesn't mean it won't, but thus far it hasn't. 1 plus 1 equals 3. This is not mathematics. Okay, when your brain can wrap around that and your heart can accept it, it will make a whole lot of difference, and thereby open that door to prosperity in a staggering level. Yes, Will, in all honesty, you did. You did come in with the gold today. When you can wrap your brain around the idea that 1 plus 1 equals 3, you've got the key to prosperity in the palm of your hand. And in order to put it in the palm of your hand, take that 1 plus 1 equals 3 and close now. Okay. You're welcome to play Lotto there. Well, be my guest. I wouldn't touch it. Not with the odds. But see, Lotto is touted, and this is any lottery. This has nothing to do with one company or another. Whether you're talking lottery, and where you just buy a ticket and wait for it to pay off and pray it works, or you buy a scratch and win, take 3 minutes to scratch it out, and hope you got the right one, or sit down and play bingo. Okay, spend a couple hours playing bingo, hoping that the numbers are going to come up. These are all easy ways of doing it. Okay, there are ways of becoming prosperous in a lot more consistent, a lot more functional way and steps. Okay, and we're going to get into those in a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm in the middle of actually writing that issue. I'm writing a book. I actually got started on it today, on writing Believe in Your Organization and Follow Your Dreams. The 4th one in the Believe in Your series. Okay, I've already got the forward done. I'm working on the book, on the body of the book itself. And as per a discussion, as per a question that was asked on Spaced Out Radio last night, I am also writing in detailed form. And I don't know how much room it's going to take, but I'm putting down on paper that will in time be available to, for sale, on how to quit smoking, quit drinking, quit drugs without withdrawals, and by the way, with no medication. Okay, these are all different things that can be done, but understand, it boils down to you're going to have to do the work. These tools that I'm bringing to the table are ones that get used in conjunction with every other system you're working with. Okay, but it all has the same backbone to it. Prosperity starts at your fingertips, not at somebody else's. Once you start looking in the mirror, okay, the one in the mirror is the one that's got dominant control over your prosperity level. You're the one that's going to have to do something with it. Okay, now I'm going to touch on one thing that I'm only touching on because I'm not going into the whole ins and outs of it. When it comes to political issues, okay, there's people that go, why bother voting? You're just going to get garbage anyway. Well, the reason for voting is very simple. It's so you have a viable right to say you did what you could. Now you carry on. I appreciate that, Will. I really do. The reality is, as a matter of fact, just to give you an update on that, we currently have, all I got to do is pull this. That's right. That one. Is pull this down. And we have, right now, we are at AA, which means we're at AA. So we are at 50. We are at literally 62 subscribers. Okay. We are at, however, 616 subscribers to Positive Perceptions here. Vibing, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The reality is you desire your life to change. It's time to look in the mirror and go, what am I not content with? Okay, now I'm going through the same thing. Okay. I have spent decades hiding from the world, and by the way, hiding from life. Now, there is a lot more to what my story is as to where I came from, how I came up with the information I've got. And yes, I will be more than happy to talk about it. But right now, the issue is you. Therefore, if somebody wants to go into detail on that side of it, on where this information came from, all you got to do is the easy thing. Contact me, okay, and ask for me to show up on your show. There are certain topics I will not touch on this one. Okay. It's just like I will not go into heavy duty politics. I won't go into which religion is right. Not going to happen. And I'm certainly not going to tell you I've got all the answers. If I had all the answers, number one, well, true. If I had all the answers, first, I would already have a massively financially prosperous empire and an entire religious and spiritual support system already in place that was spanning the globe, handling billions of people. I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm not doing that yet for a lot of reasons. One of which, I don't desire to be on, I don't desire to be on any sort of a pedestal. In my opinion, I'm just not that special. Yes, I'm outspoken, I'm opinionated, and I'm as stubborn as they get. Maybe more so. I'm a firm believer that death is a stepping stone. I'm also living proof that the fact that you physically die doesn't mean you necessarily have to stay that way. Don't test that. Okay, it's not a good gamble. I'm one of the few that got diagnosed dead and walked out of the morgue. The best doctors in the area went, no, he's toast. Tag him and ship him off to the morgue. I walked out to the morgue because I didn't agree with their diagnosis. Okay, I dropped 60 pounds because I didn't agree with the idea that you have to use a pill to drop your weight. Okay, my finances, I've done some absolutely, that just about came out very wrong and very vulgar. Absolutely garbage. Okay, absolutely stupid moves. And the reason I call it stupid is because of this. Believe in your finances and follow your dreams. Okay. Got another one around here too that I don't know offhand where it is. Well, down there, I don't want to get it. Okay. I've already shown millionaires how to make money work. I've already shown banks how to make bank accounts work. Now, do you think I'm a multimillionaire? Somebody does. I keep getting told by people, oh, can you loan me some money? No, I can't. Or more to the point, I won't. Joseph, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Joseph Lawrenson is going, I am valuable and worthy, just as I am. Absolutely. It's like I told my other half. I wasn't looking, I didn't look to her because she is perfect. I look to her because she is perfect for me, period. Okay. And the good news there is even she didn't have to get it. I did. Okay. Now, these neat little things. Are your eyes healable? As long as you still got them, the answer is in all likelihood, yes. Okay. I'm living proof of it. Prosperity boils down to believing and acting upon said belief in an organized and functional fashion to attain the things you're aiming for. My father always used to say, shoot for the stars. You may only get to the moon, but you'll still be above the mountaintops. Okay, and I could lay out all kinds of ancient colloquialisms. That was well done. Colloquialisms until the cows come home. Okay, but the reality is it boils down to this. Are you content with your life the way it is now? Okay, Now, I know some of you, okay, I know some of you have been working on things that you're not content with, and they are getting better, and this is fantastic. Focus on the changes that are happening, okay? Focus on the positive things that are happening around you. Let go of this, and I'm going to say something that's real. I'm going to say this is necessary, not easy. You cannot move forward in life if you hang on to the past. Okay, to put that in perspective, you got one or two options here. If we go the route of trying to walk, picture, and it doesn't matter which foot you lead off with, whichever foot you lead off with, let's say, just for simplicity, you start walking by moving your right foot forward first. The right foot is moving into the future. Your left foot is anchored in the past. Now, you're going to try and walk forward, but we're going to hang on to the past. So this foot isn't going to move. Not allowed to move that foot. Okay? Move the right foot forward a little. Now, hang on to the past, and let's try and move that right foot forward again. And see how far you get before you really hurt yourself. We can do the same thing on old-fashioned monkey bars. Whichever hand you reach with, you got both hands on the monkey bars. Whichever one you reach forward with, that's the one reaching to the future. So you reach, you grab the next bar. You're not letting go with this one. This one, you've got a white knuckle grip. You're hanging on to that. That's hanging on to the past. Okay, now, move your right hand, your forward hand, further forward. How far are you going to get before you fall? Okay, when we concentrate on what we are afraid of, what we've done wrong in the past, you're hanging on to that. Okay, how many people have you ever seen trying to drive down the road by looking in the rearview mirror? Not the front, looking over your shoulder at what you did before. Okay, how many of you actually stare out the back, or even on a good day, stare out the side windows, but never out the front window while you're trying to move forward in life? You're doing the same thing. You're concentrating on where you've been, on the trials you've had, on the complications you've run into. Whoop. Gotta see what that says. Yeah, absolutely, Joseph. And it came to my understanding that the essence of prosperity is very simple. Prosperity boils down to, are you content with your life? Would you be comfortable bringing somebody into your living environment and enjoying an afternoon with them? And I'm presuming, we're just going with the idea, somebody you actually like. Okay, now, I look at my house and I'm going, not content yet. Okay, I did start working on literally, and I've been postponing it. My left hand, since my stroke, my left hand has not been able to write, but it hasn't done anything with it yet. Okay, it hasn't improved. It's still got all the signals, but I haven't done it. Okay, and with that in mind, if I don't do something to improve that, if I don't work the muscle, I'm not getting ahead with it. Same thing applies to those of you that are fighting with issues like, I'm a professional procrastinator. Never do today what you can do and what you can put off till tomorrow. I did it one better than that, in my opinion. Never do what you can put off. See, I'm also a lazy procrastinator. I don't want to finish even the sentence. I'm going to put that off till later. Now, the important thing here is this. When you look in the mirror, are you content with the way your life is going on all levels? Okay, now, understand there's only one person that can change that. You can pray to whoever you want. You can point your finger at whoever you please. you can say, oh, it's the politicians. We put this genius in office. It's his fault the world's gone to heck in a handbasket. Well, let me ask you this. Okay. And I'm not picking on any politician or any religious leader in particular. Okay. Let me ask you this. You get up in the morning. You've got to have breakfast. Okay. Because you have to, but you desire to have breakfast. Now, here's the thing. Breakfast is literally the first meal you have of the day. It doesn't mean it's at 6 o'clock in the morning. It means whatever time you have the first meal, that's your breakfast. But let me ask you, is it a politician that you've elected that is in your house? Aside from those elected, then that's another issue. But is the politician you elected in your house telling you how to physically spend your money or what type of bread to buy? Is an industry mogul, are they in your house telling you when to turn the light on, telling you when you're supposed to watch TV? Now, understanding marketing is simple. Okay, they repeat it on a regular basis, so you believe that you're getting the best of the best. Bad news. Okay, diamonds are a prime example. The reason diamonds are so expensive is because some marketing genius went, this is the best stone in the world to show that you care about the woman you're around or the guy you're around. This little stone called a diamond. Do your own research. These things are common as granite. Okay. They're not a rare stone. Okay. But I do agree with you. They look much better than a physical granite stone on a ring. I absolutely feel they look better. Okay. Absolutely, Joseph. Joseph's going, seek out communities and friendships where self-worth is celebrated and encouraged, as being around such individuals can uplift and inspire you. Absolutely. But this said, and that is absolutely the way to go with it. One other thing to keep in mind, when you run into somebody that is perpetually down, this is not the person to shun. If they are still coming around, this is the person that is asking for help in the only way they know how. Okay. This does not mean put yourself in jeopardy to protect them. It means offer them a little bit of kind direction if you know what you're up to. Okay. I helped guide a young woman. She was diagnosed with paranoid schizoid, with multiple personality disorder. In other words, way too many people inside her head. They had told her she was completely helpless. They couldn't do anything. I worked with her for about a year. And I kid you not, I took a woman with 3 very distinct personality profiles that popped up and very different from each other. I took her I guided her. I didn't do the work. She did the work. Okay. You desire your life to change. I can tell you how to do it. Okay. You're going to get off your tail and do it, or it's not going to happen. I took her from living on the street and being a kleptomaniac that would literally steal anything she could get her hands on. Okay. We took her from that to living in subsidized housing, in a volunteer job, and returning lost money to people. Okay. The important thing we have to remember here is karmic law is simple. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now, I've been telling people that for years, and the silly thing is, or in my case, the stupid thing, is I've been telling you this for years. Only now I'm looking at it going, I really have got to be one of the slowest people on the planet because I dug myself into a crater that I knew how to avoid. Okay, now it's starting to come around. I am making this trip down to Reno. Okay. And I'll tell you, that one's an interesting setup. But it's already laid out that when I come back, money is already starting to climb. Money is not the be all and end all. It is a side effect. It is a barter system only. It's easier to drag around even a roll of $25 of $25 bills or 25 loonies in Canada. It's easier to carry that than to herd 25 cattle around, or even 2 cattle around for that matter. So money is a barter system only. That's it. But when you get it in your heart, when you literally, when your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. Now there are some limitations. Because I know some genius out there is going to go, well, he said, Keith said, if I believed I could fly, I could fly. So I jumped off this 2-story building and I broke my leg. It's his fault that I jumped off. No, it's not. Okay. I will tell you wholeheartedly, if you feel you can fly, start by jumping off a curb. If you don't land and you manage to fly, this is good. Carry on. If you land, you didn't break anything. Evil Knievel Jr. Those of you that are my age will remember Evil Knievel. Phenomenal daredevil jumper. But I'm sitting there when I was married, and I'm sitting there with my wife, and we're watching him get Evil Knievel Jr. get ready to jump between 2 14-story buildings. All he was doing was jumping across the road, about 35, 40 feet. And he's going through putting on all this leather gear, crash helmet, crash pads, all of it. And he's going into how important this stuff is. I kid you not. My wife looks at me and she goes, what's all that for? If he misses a jump, he's dropping 14 floors. All that padding, what's that to do? Just keep him in one place? You have the ability to change your life, but you've got to stop listening to people that are telling you you cannot do it. That's not possible. There's an old saying that goes, it would be really nice if those of you that are telling me things are not possible, if you would get out of the way, just keep quiet and step aside while I'm doing them. Now, I will tell you the same thing applies to you. Okay. I am really curious how many of you that are in the chat room or just listening in. I am really curious how many of you have gone, I've got 20 pounds extra weight. I've got to drop it. Okay. You've gone to the diets, they haven't worked. You've gone to the pills, they haven't worked. Well, here's a simple mathematical reality. Do not take my word for it. Take your own experience for it. If you put less food, less calories into your body than you're burning, you will drop weight. Now, if you drop it too fast, you're going to end up with a very simple problem. You're going to overtax your system. And again, I'm no medical doctor, so do your own research. Okay? But if you're working out with money however you desire to, okay, if you're only putting 20 calories into your body, Donna, how you doing? Glad you could join us. If you're only putting 100 calories into your body, number one, you're in trouble. And you're burning 150, you're going to drop weight. If you're putting in less calories than you're expending, you are going to drop the weight. If you're putting in more calories than you're expending, you're going to gain weight. It's simple math. If you're not good at math, that's no problem. take a pile of never mind coins, because we already know we're out of money. Okay. Take a bunch of leaves. I'm sure you can find them outside somewhere. Okay. And you take 2 piles of leaves. One is your supply system, and then you got the one you're working with. Okay. Now you start off with 10. Okay. Take 2 out, put 3 in. Your pile is going to grow. Okay. If you take 3 out and you only put 2 in, pretty soon you're going to run out of the leaves. Okay. One of the biggest things that we have to realize is the old axiom that goes hand in hand with modern day. Garbage in, garbage out. If you surround me, you've heard the term that misery loves company. Trust me on this one. I've got well over 100,000 clients I've dealt with. Okay, this one, just take my word for it. Misery doesn't love company because miserable people, quite frankly, most of them desire to be left alone. So they don't like company. You think about it. Let's bring this into the modern world, into current, and I am no sports fan. Okay, let me ask you, who gathered around in a celebratory party last night? Okay, now, we all know, because I've told you often enough, I could probably care less about hockey. I just don't know how I do it. But the game last night, the Grey Cup game last night, between, I believe it was the Florida Predators and the Vancouver Canucks. Probably got the wrong Predators name, but I'm not a sports fan. Whoever, Canucks won. Now, which team had the bigger party? The one that lost or the one that won? Okay, if the one that lost won, then misery loves company. Sometimes it can be classified as both. And Donna's just going, surrounding yourself with people who are positive. My dad was negative. I had to stay away from him for my own energy. Take a look at the party. Who had the bigger party? The Canucks, who won their possession and are moving on to the second round, or the Predators, who, didn't win. Put up one heck of a fight. Okay, really had cause to be proud of themselves in my eyes. But do you really think they went out and had a celebratory party? This is the thing we have to look at. When you're looking at these old axioms, do they make sense? Okay, if you're content, you're more likely to run. And let me ask you this. If you do something that you're really happy with, are you likely to run out and tell people you did this? Like, we'll come in, he goes, hey, my kids, they took the championship today. Now, this makes sense. They won. They did something to be proud of. Will comes into the room and goes, hey, this happened. Do you really think that many people will go, hey, my kids got into this championship battle, and yay, my kid lost? Do you really think that people are going to do that? I have been looking at this life completely backwards. Now, like you, I spent my entire life building misconceptions. And totally, even though I've guided people, I have shown banks how to make money. I've shown people how to turn their health around. Heck, there was one young lass that was brought to me stuck in a wheelchair. Okay, the doctors had given up on her. And I worked on it for a couple hours. I was asked if I could help. I told them, I'm no medical doctor. Okay, I'm an accelerated healer, but I'm no medical doctor. And I was asked if I could possibly help. And I looked at her and I looked at the woman that brought her. I said, look, I'm not going to guarantee it, but I'll do what I can. I kid you not, this kid ended up walking. Okay. It wasn't until a year later that I found that the only reason she came was not because she felt I could help her, but because her mother felt I could. And then on top of that, I found out this neat little thing. She had been trapped in a wheelchair for 3.5 years. Okay. All it took was somebody going, this is the way it works. Here's a path you can work with. Now, in her case, she took it to heart. Okay. When I first worked on her, I asked her, I said, okay, stand up. Now, bear in mind, she's been sitting in a wheelchair for 3.5 years. She looks at me and goes, I can't do that. I says, how about if we don't talk about what you can't do and you stand up? If your legs work, you're upright. If they don't, you're still in the wheelchair. You know, the important thing that we have to look at here is you have to be the one doing the work. I couldn't have pulled her out of the wheelchair and had her stand unless she believed it was possible. Now, let me ask you this, and this applies to any one of you that are listening in. Do you have in your heart, do you feel that your life can change for the better in spite of what you've been through? Philip, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Philip goes, okay, I will grant you that, Philip. Although realistically, much as that is an interesting way of looking at it, Philip goes regarding the issue of who's going to throw the biggest party. And Philip goes, only if the people are me and went to school where good teachers were fired for crap coaches. Hooray, we lost. Serves them right for firing the best teachers. Ultimately correct. But the reality of it is, and I do agree with you there, Philip, the idea of serves them right. Okay. Unfortunately, is not, and the reason I don't go down that road is because when I look at that, I'm going, they made a mistake, but you got to remember the people doing the firing were taught by people with the same mindset. Therefore, yeah, bad call. Absolutely. But with that in mind, you got to remember that they were doing the best they could with what they had. And as was stated, I believe it was Joseph Stewart here, that he's not in the room right now, I don't think. But as he stated, I'm not perfect, but I'm doing the best I can. I wholeheartedly believe that. Okay, I'm not perfect either. Matter of fact, quite frankly, if you knew much about me, you'd understand how far off perfect I actually am. I stunned myself the other day. Okay, I have started exercising. That didn't shock me, but I've been laying on my bed to do sit-ups because laying on the floor makes me dizzy. But sitting up in bed, I actually managed to do 12 sit-ups in my bed, or more to the point, on my bed. Tell you, it was an absolute shock when that happened, but it boiled down to I said, I'm going to make this happen. Okay. And I'm going to turn around over the next, as soon as I get off here, I was supposed to do it a little earlier today. Got caught up with writing a couple of articles. So the first thing I do when I get off this stream is I will grab a sheet of paper and start deliberately working on my left-hand writing. And yes, I'm going to date it. Ellie goes, Keith, that'll keep your hip from slipping as well. Absolutely. And it's, the fact that I've done it on the bed instead of on the floor, my eyes is simple. I can do it without getting dizzy. I lay down on the floor, and right now I got vertigo. And I haven't been able to correct that yet, but I'm working on it. Again, it boils down to going, what are you aiming at? What kind of life do you see what do you see your world looking like? And let me ask you this. If your world is all running smoothly, if you're happy about your home, how do you think you're going to respond to people out in the physical world? Yeah, Donna's just pointing out, Don Spencer says, also, our mental health is better off. I got braces on my teeth due to gaps. He asked me why I did that. Why did I do that? I told him, I wanted to look good like everyone else. Also, I paid for it, not him. Well, here's the thing. I cannot get my teeth done right now because of the fact, they're a shambles. But I suffer from PTSD triggered by the dentist. Okay. That said, this doesn't mean that I wouldn't like the teeth done. I haven't figured out how to get around it. See, the thing there, Philip, every teacher, like Philip, the thing is, you can look to the teachers because if they're not teaching you what you require to know to function, there's a problem. In today's world, I'm seeing way too many people graduating without the ability to add numbers on, to just take two standard dice, toss them on the table and go, there's the answer. They're not taught to think, and that's just my opinion on it. Well, Mark Twain was an absolutely brilliant individual. Now, I haven't read a lot, as I said, but yeah, he goes, my favorite childhood memory is having the energy to burn. Now, here's a really weird question for you. And this is literally for you, in this case, LA, because I'm coming down to straighten out a whole pile of things down there. And yes, I have decided that I am going to step out of the closet. No, that's wrong. I'm going to step out of the shadows. And I am going to start working with the abilities I've got. Okay. When I come down there, we're going to not only reset the system that you've got, but we're going to modify, we're going to remind your body how to kick out proper energy. So that you can not necessarily run. The odds of that are not good, but at least have the energy to carry on. The reality is, a friend of mine put it this way, to know oneself is to know all. Figure out what makes you content. I look at my house, I go, okay, I've got all this clutter behind me. That's got to go. Okay, it absolutely has to go. So it's going. But that's because I no longer desire the clutter, which is stopping my energy flow. And I get a kick out of it. My son came to me just 3 days ago. Turns out, because we were trying to figure out why it is I sleep so little. On the whole, I sleep 4 hours, 5 hours a day between midnight and midnight. Turns out there's a mutation in the physical genome called short sleep syndrome, meaning I'm one of the lucky few, okay, less than sleep at night. I can function fully healthy without a problem. Philip is going, good teachers have to do double or triple the work because bad teachers and administrators are tolerated and sometimes even celebrated by short-sighted fools who don't care about the students. Unfortunately, that is in a lot of ways very accurate, because some of the teachers that are out there, and when I'm talking teachers, let's look at what teachers are. If you're a child that is older than another child, instructing said younger child, you're a teacher. If you're a parent, you're a teacher. If you're a stranger helping, say, pointing another stranger in a given direction, you're a teacher. If you got the title teacher, you're a teacher. Get the picture? Every single one of you is a teacher and a student. If the method of teaching isn't working for you, it is time we start opening the door and helping people realize that speaking up about what's not working is imperative. And I will tell you, society is an absolute shambles right now, but it is correctable. The systems that are laid out are sound. Well, I'm going to take that as a compliment, because I don't honestly know who Ralph Waldo Emerson is. But thank you very much, Philip. The reality that we have to look at is this. I've spent the last number of years looking at, especially the last number of months, was hiding from society, hiding from life, and going, we have billions of people listening to geniuses out there going, you're going to die. You're all going to go to hell because you're all sinning. And I'm like, okay, now if you're doing the job of uplifting people, why are you telling people you're all going to die instead of saying, here's a way, and leading by example to say, here's what needs to be done. Here is what is required for you to get back on the right track. Okay, this funny little book, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. I simply found out that with well over 100,000 clients, okay, now I'm no marketing mogul. Okay, I'm really not. Okay, if I were, I just sold a whole lot more of these than what I have. Especially given that any one of these books is being written at $20 in your hand. Now that's $20 Canadian, which, by the way, American is probably closer to 15 at this point. Okay, I don't know, but that's $20 in your hand anywhere in Canada or the continental US. We are looking at ways of getting it out to people around the world for a lot less and a lot more readily. Let's see what Joseph just put there. Found a way to make that work. There we go. Exercise may seem like it drains energy, but it actually boosts it. In all honesty, it really does. Now, I will tell you, the idea of running around a mile track, I'm not stupid enough to do it. Okay, I got a leg that buckles after 3 steps, when I'm just walking. Okay. Don, if you look right at the top of the chat room, there's a spot there that says buy me a coffee. That will give you the link directly to ordering it. I appreciate that, Guardian, and welcome aboard. The important the important factor that we have to look at this point, okay, the important thing we have to look at is, as teachers, it is critical, okay, that we lead by example. I'm telling you, I've been doing my best to drop weight. If you look 2 years back, I was 246 pounds. I was told, you've got to get these medications to drop the weight. Take a medication, sit on your backside, buy this newfangled technological gizmo. You can have the body of a god and no effort. Doesn't work that way usually. Effort will make things happen. It may take longer. In all fairness, it will take longer in all likelihood. But in 2 years, I have dropped 60 pounds. And here's the kicker of kickers. I did it by eating less and moving more. Okay, that's just the reality of it. Now, I was lucky. Okay, I had a teacher. Black Dragon, I have not seen you here in a very long time. Welcome back. The reality of it is this. Okay, I had a phenomenal gym teacher. Okay, he taught me how to stretch and how to move and how to reset my own body because he couldn't teach me how to run. He was literally told that I was not allowed to run or jump at all. Okay, and of course, it was funny, his reaction, but he taught me how to make the most of the body I've got. I'm not going to tell you how to become a professional weightlifter capable of lifting 500 pounds. Okay, I'll tell you the steps. I can't lift 500 pounds. Okay, as a matter of fact, I had to do something a little silly here. See this thing here? That's what I'm lifting. Okay, I downsized it a little because I'm only working with 20 pounds now. Okay, but I'm not doing as many reps as I was. But at the same time, I now have not only dropped in 2 years, I dropped 60 pounds. I now have muscle definition in my legs and my abdomen and my arms. Okay, I'm telling you it's doable, but it means you've got to get off your tail feathers to make it happen. Oh, okay. I appreciate the clarification there, Philip. One of the neat little things I found is this. Now, we got billions of people. I got to back that one up. We got billions of people sitting, listening to somebody stand there and go, I have a message from God. You're going to die. You're going to have a miserable life. And because you're all sinners, because you don't follow what I tell you, you're all going to hell. And then we've got millions of people sitting in front of machines just like this one, watching other people play video games. Now, I don't see the draw I really didn't see the draw, and I finally figured it out. It's kind of like sitting down and watching a movie. You still don't get any experience. You don't get any better at it, but it is a nice distraction. Problem is, in both of those systems, distract you from life. I have hid from the world without the aid of technology. As a matter of fact, I blatantly ignored it. Yeah, hey, Joseph, here's a real cute thought for you. Joseph Lawrenson is just going, peer teaching is often more effective than expert teaching. Get this. Our prison system, prisoners are put in with prisoners and not guided. And what did they turn out when they released the prisoners from prison? Very well adjusted, very well adjusted law-abiding citizens, right? That's how that works. Okay. The reality is, most of my friends, I haven't even got so much as a speeding ticket. I haven't even got, I've not even got a speeding ticket, which, by the way, I like. Okay. And yet, most of the friends that I really connected with had criminal records, had problem childhoods, etc., etc. I was one of the really, really lucky ones. I don't even remember my mother and father ever fighting. Okay, and that's not bad given they lived under one roof for 60 years. But you have a choice. You can sit there and you can. I absolutely encourage people to go to church. Absolutely, I do. You won't find me in one, but that's because, well, I've got a different outlook on life. Okay, but the church does have one thing going for it. The church has the idea of community, of support. Problem that I'm finding is so many talk about what is wrong with the world, and very few of them, and there are different churches that do it, that actually do that, that actually go out and help. But so few of them reach out and actually help. And we know this because, guess it'd be about 5 years ago, somebody came out. Okay, I pulled that on somebody one day. It was great. But the unfortunate part is so many of them will say, "Oh, we're here doing the Lord's work," and yet it was said about 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. Somebody in the States went, "Look, can somebody explain to me if churches are doing what they say they're doing and taking care of the poor and the homeless? Why, when we have 360,000 churches in the States, why do we have 200,000 people living on the street?" Now, I'm not about to tell you I can put everybody off the street. That would be absolutely stupid in my position. I don't have that kind of money. Okay, but I will tell you, if I'm going to say I'm doing something, I'm living proof of it. This is a mess. I'm going to have to. And in all fairness, I'm probably going to end up talking to Lynn Ann about it. Okay, and the reason for that is very simple. I am not a fashion aficionado, but I do desire to start looking to other people like I'm more successful. In my case, I feel great. I am not at the top of my game. I will get there. Okay. I will get there. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I encourage you to do the same thing. Joe Stewart put it really well when he said, "I'm not perfect, but I am doing my best." As long as you are doing your best, okay, that is all that you can really expect of yourself, really functionally expect. Now, I'm not about to apologize to people for being outspoken. Okay. The reality of it is, I will give an honest answer. I may not give the answer you desire, but I will tell you this. The reason that these books are together at all is these are keys. Okay. When I get all 12 keys written, then I will put the rest of it together. Robert White, how you doing? Glad you could join me. Join me, join us. Join the whole 9 yards. That the funny changed overnight. Most of you years to scramble, but you get started on it today. Now, it took me 60 years to figure it out. What I am here to do is knock decades off of your learning curve. Where are we here? Oh, I don't even worry about that. Okay. One of the things we have to look at. Here's the thing, Philip. Just a thought. Now, I looked into starting a church decades ago, but the mainstream churches have absolutely created a decimated situation where starting a church now, you're not going to do. Doesn't mean that you can't organize a community get together where you literally are doing that. Okay, like Phil's just going. Some churches in Central Europe serve cider and cookies on special occasions. I wish we had a church like this near me. Create the church. Okay, do not call it a church. Call it a community center. But you do the groundwork. Make it happen. I am working at building a global empire. Yes, I am one step shy of being a pauper. I don't care. Every one of the millionaires out there started off a pauper. Every one of them. Okay. Now, you desire something like that. Wishes are great. Make it happen. I encourage you. Okay, for all the good that does me. Might help you though. Absolutely, Black. That I feel for you there, Robert. Robert White goes, hooked up to a couple of devices, trying to get used to work and how to move with these contraptions. I do feel for you. Okay, I do not envy your position, but I do applaud your dedication to it. The funny thing about it when we get the way this world is we've got the ability to change the direction things are going. And from here on out, the whole idea of prosperity is simple. Get it in your mind what you're not content with. If you know what you're not content with, that's where you start. Now, if you know how to change it, and this one, believe in yourself and follow your dreams, covers the literal method I used to personally change the way my life was running. Believe in your business and follow your dreams tells you exactly how I set about organizing my thought processes to run a business. Now, understand something very important. Running a house is running a business. Running a daycare is running a business. Believe in your finances and follow your dreams. This I wrote to explain to people what the mindset was that took me from being absolutely depressed that I wasn't going to make any money, that I wasn't going to succeed. This tells you how I broke that thought process. Now I've got another one I'm in the middle of translating that shows how to track it. But the way I figure it is this. I've got 60 years on the ground right now of experience. Honestly, in my opinion, I'm just not that special. And no, I'm not looking for compliments. Let's not go there. In my opinion, I'm no different than you are. Literally speaking, all that I do, thou shalt do and more. You can do literally everything I'm doing. All you have to do is get it in your head that it's possible, draw it to your heart to see it happen, to feel it happen, and get off your tail feathers. Okay, you're not doing any weightlifting if you don't pick up the weights. The best tools on the planet are absolutely useless if you don't pick them up. And the fact that people are listening to me at all is, from my standpoint, shocking, but that's another issue. I used to look at the world going, these people are so backwoods. Well, they are. The human race is completely backwards. But I've now reached an understanding, thankfully, woke up the other day going, holy mackerel, this is absolutely bizarre. Yes, people are absolutely thinking backwards. Okay, you've been taught to fear. You've been taught change is difficult, change is painful, change is scary. You do realize every word you hear, every thought you have, thank you very much, LA, every inkling you consider means your entire metabolic system is changing. And I'm willing to bet not a one of you is writhing on the floor in absolute agony right now. Which, by the way, if change was that bad, having the agony would cause would be a catastrophic disaster. The neat part, Donna, concerning weight loss. Here's the neat thing. Okay, and this is a real, oddly enough, this is one of the biggest things. Okay, this is one of the biggest things you got to realize when you're looking at dropping weight. Okay, and most people go, I've got to lose X amount of weight. Here's a critical flaw in that thinking. Humans are taught from the time you're tiny, if you lose something, you've got to go find it. So where it comes to weight, you're now an adult, you put on extra weight because, oh my gosh, as you get older, you're going to put on weight because your metabolism is going to slow down. You're going to get all kinds of diseases because you're getting older. Well, first rule where it comes to weight, stop looking at, and I do mean literally, this will take some time to get through to reorganize your thoughts. Every time you run the thought of, I've got to lose weight, drop the thought right there. Okay. Do not look at weight loss as losing weight. Look at dropping the weight as dropping the weight or discarding the weight. Because when you think in terms of, I've got to lose weight, what you're doing is twofold. One is you're losing it, which means instinctively you're going to go find it again, probably on a subconscious level. And it seems that when it comes to weight, it comes back with company. Okay, that's the first thing you're doing. Number two is if somebody is saying, I want to lose weight, the universe is hearing. Universe, God, your higher self, whatever you want to put the title. Call it a peanut butter sandwich for all it matters. Whatever it is, I want to lose weight. The universe hears, I desire to not lose weight. Net result, you don't. Oh, Robert, I can't get through the I was in the hospital for a week, Robert. I had a stroke. I was in there for 2 days before I walked out. Then, I walked in, I went in there without able to walk, couldn't walk, couldn't talk. 2 days later, I walked out of the hospital on a day pass. I don't believe in staying in a hospital. Of course, that had something to do with the PTSD thing, I think. But when we look at the dropping weight, you drop the weight, you leave it behind. If somebody else finds it, that's their issue. Okay, that's where you start. The second thing, do not, and I am no nutritionist. I am not trained. This is simply life experience. Okay, some diets will tell you, don't eat this type of food. Don't eat that type of food. Cut back on this stuff. Oh, you really like sugar? Cut it out. Oh, you've got a sweet tooth? No more candy. You like chips? Don't eat those because they're adding weight. I'm telling you, here's what I did. Okay, first and foremost, you start depriving yourself of the stuff your body really has grown accustomed to. You're going to run into snags in all likelihood. Second issue. Okay, if you simply put less calories into your body than what you're burning, you will drop weight. Yeah. And here's where, and I'm glad that's working for you, Donna. Donna's going, I found out that if you stop eating after 3 p.m. and just drink water, it'll help you lose. My problem is if I stop eating after 3 p.m., I better be asleep by the time it's 4, or I'm getting dizzy. My metabolism does not facilitate that kind of thought of action. Although it's working for you, so stick with it. Okay. Robert is going, went in with an infected ankle. Infection went into the bone. Surgery under local. Ear problem was sorted out as well. Well, yeah. And this is why I constantly tell people now, Robert, that if you've got a medical problem, absolutely go to the doctor. Okay. Go to a doctor, a naturopath, somebody that's trained. Okay. I don't always do the best thing for anybody else, but I do what works for me. And this is why I say I'm living proof that as you get older, you don't have to deteriorate. I now weigh less than I did 30 years ago. I've probably got a smaller waist than I had 40 years ago. Okay. And my eyesight is better than it was 20 years ago. So I'm telling you, if you believe and act on said beliefs, you still got to use your brains. Absolutely, Donna. And this is why I say, if it's working for you, follow it, but listen to your body. Yeah, I seem to have that effect. In all fairness, Donna, I am going to be, I'm going to actually be replacing my computer as soon as I can and bringing in somebody to hardwire the computer in place. Hopefully that will eliminate the problem. But I gotta wait until after I get back next week. Well, Wednesday I take off and I will be getting back on the 14th. Then I start looking at those kind of changes. Oh, there you go, Robert. Oh, Black Dragon. That's the flip side. Okay, you've got a high metabolism. If I get sick, I have to force myself to eat, even when I don't want to eat. Okay. Now, the neat little trick there, if you're aiming to gain weight, number one, absolutely talk to a nutritionist because there are foods that break down slower, okay, than other foods. Turn to the foods that break down slower. That way, and bear in mind, I've got a metabolism that's just absolutely stupid. I only eat one meal a day. I start about 4 o'clock in the morning. I finish usually about 10 o'clock at night. Okay. And I'm still able to drop weight. As a buddy of mine put it, he goes, if I would eat what Keith does, I would weigh 600 pounds. If Keith were to eat what I eat, he'd pass out. Okay. I understand the idea of a hyperactive metabolism. But either talk to someone, to a nutritionist that knows what foods digest slower, or trial and error. Find out which ones work. Nice idea there, LA. LA is just going, Storm likes to have a little soup before he eats more. Seems to soothe. Gee, that came out well. It seems to soothe the stomach so he can't eat. And, it's one of those things, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. If you haven't experienced it, give it a shot and see what happens. When we are looking at prosperity, we are looking at a number of factors. Your mental health, your physical health, your dwelling health, the health of your business, and the health of your community. Now, if each of you starts turning around and working on your own individual health, you will find it radiates out and affects everybody around you. Because let's face it, if mentally speaking, you're more adept at handling things, you're going to be a lot more friendly, or poor English, a lot friendlier with the people you're dealing with, which in turn is going to help them. See, prosperity boils down to a simple issue. When you are content with you, things will start to flow better. When the clutter is out of your house, and understand something, I have been a pack rat for the massive majority of my life. But a lot of clutter. Yes, you want to hang on to the memories and what have you. That's great. Okay, absolutely. But you probably have a lot of stuff that you really don't require. Okay, with that in mind, start removing the stuff you really do not require, because all that extra clutter does slow the energy level down, does make, and don't take my word for it, tidy the place up and see how much better you feel. Even if all you do, and it's just a recommendation. Okay, the first room I cleared out, I got rid of the majority of the clutter. And it honestly, it got moved to a different room to start with. Was I took all the excess out of my bedroom, or as much of it as I could, and moved it elsewhere. I didn't actually throw it out to start with. I just moved it elsewhere where it wasn't in my room. As soon as I did that, especially as soon as I cleared the bed off, I slept better. Net result, I woke up in the morning more energetic, more alive, and more functionally cognizant. Don't take my word for it. Experience it yourself. Where are we here? Black. What do we got here? That's why. Well, I'm glad to hear that in a sense, Donna. With that in mind, that makes sense what Black's doing. I have no doubt they're trying to, but I will tell you this. Number one, not functionally possible. Okay, it's not functionally possible for the computer industry as it stands to be able to do that. Way too many variables. And what they won't stop and cannot stop, because it's been tried for centuries, you cannot silence the people. Okay, you can absolutely terrify them and make people reluctant. But when when one group or one set of people try to control another and they start squeezing, tell you what, take the old-fashioned silly putty, take dough, okay, take anything, take an air balloon, put it in your hand, and squeeze it as tight as you can. And you will find the bits and pieces squeeze out between the fingers. A handful of sand works the same way. The tighter people try and control other people, the more difficult it becomes to contain it. Okay? The tighter you try and control yourself, the one thing I will tell you is this. One of the big things I did discover was the bigger organizations, when we're talking politics, when we're talking medical, when we're talking the moguls, okay, understand something. The systems work. I know you probably don't agree with that. The system is designed for prosperity to work. The problem is we are being taught how not to work with it. We are being taught that the people with the money make all the decisions. We are being taught that the people standing at the front of a congregation are the ones with the direct link. Iwaks, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now let me ask you this. I'm just going to run with that one there, Iwaks. You're on an ant farm somewhere. Let's go with that. You're an individual ant. Who's got control over your actual actions? Not what's your job, but who's got control over whether or not you are doing your job? Do you have control, or does the queen have control? Okay. What I am here to do is one thing that is dangerous as all get out. Okay, that is to remind you that you still have to work together inside the system. You know, the system that is in place. I'm just waiting for the rest of that sentence to come in. Because it ended at the queen of. Okay, because we're going to tangle with that one when you finish that sentence. You know, the thing that we have to realize is that with the way the world is set up, the systems work. Okay, let me ask you this, Iowaks. Queen runs the system. She tells you how to do. Is she walking beside you, one foot beside the next, and making distance or walk that direction? Okay, the reason I ask is this. I'm not debating the queen is laying the rules. The politicians, whether it's a queen, a prime minister, a president, doesn't matter. Okay, maybe it's just the CEO. Certainly, they're laying the rules. But do they actually control the individuals? Okay, now I will tell you, rules are in place for a reason. Okay, and this is why at the top of this stream, I've got some very simple rules. Okay, but the fact I've got them there and I've got wonderful moderators that jump on top of things really quick for me. Okay, I went, here's the rules. Now, that said, I walk into somebody else's chat room, I will follow their rules because I desire the rules in my chat room to be followed. Okay, this is the reality, and all I'm here to do is go, okay, let's flick that light on. Now you can see the world. Now it's your turn to get up and do what you have to, what you're able to, in order to reclaim power over your own life. And that's absolutely the case there, Black. Thank you so much, LA. I appreciate that. Because the Lord knows I get lost in it. You know, the fact is, people, whoever is in the control seat, the system works. Okay. And I know you're looking at it, you're probably looking at it going, well, the country's a mess. Absolutely it is. Doesn't matter what country you're in. But you got to remember, those people that are sitting in the control seats, the system works. You desire to change it. Overthrowing it isn't going to help. Okay. Go back, and I think in the States it's been banned. But if you can find a copy of a book by, I believe it was by George Orwell, called Animal Farm, pick up a copy and read the thing. Okay. It lays out beautifully what happens if you overthrow a government, a mogul, a religious setup. If you just overthrow it, somebody's going to step in and it's going to go back to the same setup. Yeah. Joseph is just going, your moderators gave me wide latitude when you did not understand me. And this is why I've got them in there. The reality of it is, Joseph, that I understand what people are doing. I do not relate to many. And there's a big, big reason. Okay. There's a very big reason I do not relate to most people and can barely cope with a lot. And that's why I don't get out of the house much. Oh, and thank you for clarifying that there, Joseph. Joseph just going, it's only banned in certain school districts. Okay. If you can get a copy of it, absolutely do so. Woo's going, oh, okay. Where are we here? What do Iwalks have to say? Oh, there we go. See, The neat part about it, like some of what goes on, I don't deal with too much. Yeah, Black goes, I relate to bacon. People are just too insane. You do realize there, Black Dragon, that's a bit of an oxymoron. If somebody is insane, they are in the state of sanity. Therefore, in my opinion, they're sane. But I do agree with you. I just ended up, think about a week ago. I bought 2 pounds of bacon in half-pound packages. Right. It took me 4 meals. I had them gone because I will literally cook. I will literally cook a pound of bacon and call that a meal. Which reminds me, I know what I'm having for supper tonight. Which, sad to say, is not bacon because I think I'm out. But I'm going to blame you for that one, Black. But no, in all fairness, Joseph, the moderators we've got are phenomenal. They give a lot of leeway, they give warnings. But like I've told people, I'm a firm believer, and I always was when I was growing up. Always get 3 warnings. So many people I've told when you're dealing with your kids, give them 1 polite warning, then drop the hammer. Because a lot of the problem children they're wandering around, what happens, you give them a warning. And by the way, every single one of you, whether you're a vat job, an off-worlder, an ancient race, or a human, doesn't matter. Okay? Every one of you has, if you have a binary set of parents, 1 male, 1 female, you're all children. I don't care how old you are. Okay? But here's the thing. You give a solid warning, like a well-stated warning first. The second warning, you've already been warned. Because by the third warning, they've already figured out the way around it. This is why I don't go that route. Never did with my own kids. Black. You see, I do the thing, and my son loves it. I take potatoes, cube them along with carrots, mash them together, and away we go. Absolutely, LA, and that is exactly the point. We've got standards here. I mean, mine are pretty low. No, mine are actually pretty high, it would seem. But with this in mind, yeah, we are getting down, aren't we? Whoop. Oh, I missed that altogether. The neat part about it, from my standpoint, is this. What I desire to see happen for all of you is to see where the hiccups are. Oh, thank you so much for that, Woo. I do appreciate it. Being partially colorblind, it gets really fun. Yeah, he goes, just behave, no bacon necessary. I look at. Now I gotta ask, what the heck is a tilapia fish? I'm not exactly what we call a connoisseur, but the reality is, what I would like to see happen for all of you is that we just simply, I don't know if that's possible, but it is something to consider. I would love to see all of you take the life you've got and transform it into something so much better. Okay. So much better in your eyes, not in my eyes. Okay. Because the reality is, what you do with your life, unless I know you directly, the odds are it's not going to have a lot of impact. Okay, there's a few of you that I know of directly I've talked to. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Joseph. The tilapia being an Egyptian mouth breeder fish. What do we got here? One of the biggest things that we have to look at is the fact that you've got the ability to change your life. Now, before I go any further, because we're just about out of time here, it would seem. Now, that said, okay, tomorrow, because I've got issues I've got to deal with on the home front, I won't be on tomorrow. Oh, Nathan's just popping in. Keith, doing ufology tonight, talking about residents of Earth that are not human. Okay, understood there, Nathan. I will do my best. I will absolutely do my best to be there. Fortunately, my energy is running really reasonable today. Not yesterday, the day before. I ran into a problem, but that's okay. Anyway, tomorrow I won't be on because I might be on sometime during the day. I don't know. But the regular show won't be here. But I will be back on Monday. And we will be dealing with this in a lot more, in a much broader sense, but still tying it to the person, to the individual. The reason we've got this is because, I'm only here until Tuesday and then I'm gone for a week and a bit. Anyway, that said, thank you so much, people. I really do appreciate you sharing your time with me. It really is. This is what works, at least for me. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I will see you again. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.